What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about a Gotham Knights beta. So, firstly, I want to thank you guys, because you guys 100% gave this to me. I'll be very, very transparent. For whatever reason, now I'm sure as we get closer, I would have maybe, stumbled upon this, but I never really thought all this way, back about a beta. I never thought about it for Gotham Knights, but when we talked about the tease, whatever those dates meant in that picture, some people thought it was like like it was like next level science, right? Where it was like, okay, well, you reverse the numbers and you come to whatever it becomes, right? And some people came up with like June 1st, 2021. Some people came up with January 6th, 2021, which obviously you keep the dates or you switch them around. And I'll show the picture in case you guys don't know, and make sure you guys watch the last video. But a thing that a lot of people did say is, what if that is the dates of a beta? I saw a beta and I saw a demo. So I guess to clarify, really, games, at least right now, demos aren't really, like, the games do have demos, but I think for a game like this, we're talking about a beta. I don't think you have a quote-unquote demo for Gotham Knights. That's not really how it works anymore. So I appreciate people thinking it was that. I would lean towards the beta, and that's a good idea. Again, like, I got to give you guys credit. Like, you guys came up with this yourselves, and I think that you probably are onto something. I say, we talked about it last time, right, where it's like, all right, do you know the release date 7 months ahead? No, you flat out do not. Even if you think you do, it could easily be pushed. And if this year has taught us anything, it should be that they easily can be pushed, okay? Now, beta is the same thing, and I do want to talk about that in a second, but a beta, to me, makes more sense, especially for a range of dates like we're dealing with in this picture. So before I go too far, I do want to say a couple things. Number one, well, I know New Year's technically was yesterday, but Happy New Year's to all of you guys. Hopefully you have an amazing 2021, and thank you for all you've given me in 2020, and we're going to kick it into high gear for an amazing 2021. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed, make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on, and if you want to follow my Twitter account, PodcastNow15 is my Twitter handle. The link for that is in the description below. I'd like to get to 2,000 followers as quickly as possible, as early in 2021 as possible, and we are absolutely getting there, and again, I have all of you guys to thank for that. All right, so July 16th to July 21st were the dates. Now, one more time, July 16th is a Friday, July 21st is a Wednesday. So, again, that kind of went into discussion if you guys missed the video last time on the release date, where it's like, all right, well, the Friday makes sense because games do release on Fridays. Fridays and Tuesdays are the days. Wednesday, which is the 21st, that doesn't really make sense because games, for the most part, now again, Hitman 3 comes out on a Wednesday. This past couple months, when the PS5 and Xbox Series X came out, games were releasing like every day. Games released on a Friday. A lot of PlayStation games released on the Thursday. A lot of Xbox games released on the Tuesday. Even on that Wednesday, there were some games. So it's not impossible, but like a thing that kind of stumps people, right? And I think that's kind of what you guys had the discussion of in the comments is, well, like the 2 dates is tough. Unless the 21, again, being at a Wednesday, and it doesn't really make sense for that to be anything, a lot of you guys inferred that it would be the year. It's talking about 2021. So it would have been interesting if they did this in 2020. Would it have said July 20th? So I do think, I do kind of subscribe to that like maybe there was a hidden message in that. The 21 maybe means the year. And I did see people say, well, if 21 means the year, maybe the 16th is a day of any month. So maybe they're talking about January 16th, maybe they're talking about February 16th, March, so on, okay? So maybe the 16th just means the day, and the 21st just means the year. I guess that's possible. The only way I see that making sense, again, is if it's January 16th, because, again, here's the deal, and here's, again, why I want a beta. And I do think, by the way, we'll get a beta, and I'll talk about that in a second. But to say that the beta is July 16th to the 21st, I'll say this and I'll discuss the beta in a second, is the same issue with the release date, where it's like, how would they know? Would they actually be able to, in a cryptic-ish, it's in a way, because you have to kind of like, you have to figure out what they're talking about, in a cryptic-ish picture, on December 25th, would they know the beta dates in July, 7 months ahead? I really don't think so. Things can change so fast in the game. You don't know. Something could break, and the beta could be moved by 1 day, and then all of a sudden those dates mean nothing. Even if it's just 1 day, the dates mean nothing. So that's the issue. Do they know 7 months in advance? I'll still say no. But the general idea of having a beta, by the way, is incredible. And I think, again, like I never really thought about it like that. For everybody who compares this game to Avengers, that's fine. We can compare it to whatever we want. Again, as I've said, I think Suicide Squad is probably going to be a lot more like Avengers than Gotham Knights is. I think it probably won't be all that close. But Gotham Knights can do the exact same thing Avengers did, where it can have, betas. It can have an open beta. It can have a closed beta. I think that would be phenomenal. And for a game that I think you can keep pretty constrained. Now, the issue is, it's got that open world feel. I mean, it is an open world game. It's got the cooperative elements, right? So I guess you can compare that to Avengers, where you could have that other person drop in and drop out, right? As whatever member of the Gotham Knights that you want, including the same one that you're playing as, which I talked about in the past. I hate that idea. I absolutely hate it, but I guess I have to live with it. So that aspect is something that I would probably like them to test. Now, obviously, they're testing it on their own, but do they need us? Do they need the fellow community, right? The Gotham Knights community? Do they need us to be able to test it? I think it's possible. And again, like with a game like this, I could see them like giving it to us and saying, okay, you're limited to just a few missions, like 2 or 3 missions. Maybe you can explore a certain part of the city, right? You can maybe fight a certain amount of enemies. Maybe you can do the Mr. Freeze boss fight. It'll be interesting to see what they do, because like with Avengers, the beta, it didn't. I was gonna say it didn't have all that much. It kind of did compared to the game. It actually had a fair amount of stuff in it. Like you got a pretty good grasp. Now, this is, by the way, disregarding the quality, which I didn't like Avengers, but like disregarding the quality of Avengers, it gave you quite a bit. I mean, it gave you the A-Day thing, which probably was the best thing that the game gave you in general, but it gave you that. It gave you a couple other missions, actually, and then it let you kind of go out and play with other people online. Again, experience the war zones, experience the drop zones. I think Gotham Knights could do a very, very similar thing. Obviously, again, it's a very different kind of game, but you give us like 2 or so missions, right? Maybe have us fight a villain. Don't have us like, and that's the thing too, like you can't have us beat the villain, right? So if it's the Mr. Freeze thing, well, technically, as we know, even from the narration in that gameplay, we're not at the end. So although it seems like you beat Mr. Freeze at the end of that, the gameplay thing that they show, he probably escapes, because we know that it's like, I think they said like 3/4 the way through, so we're not at the very end of his quest line yet, right? So we're not going to be able to beat him. So obviously you don't want to spoil anything in a beta. That's pretty dumb to do, right? And also it just kind of deflates the actual game. It's like, well, I already did this. I already experienced a really amazing moment in the beta. You want to give people a certain level of moments in a beta, but you don't want them to complete. You don't want to spoil it. You don't want to take away like a major thing from the actual game. So I do think it's absolutely possible. In fact, I would even go so far to say, I would say it's likely. In fact, I'll go so far to say even Suicide Squad, Kill a Justice League, that would also be very, very likely as well. And again, it's not really, at least right now, maybe as we got closer, if there was even talk about it, I mean, obviously it would have rang some bells then, but I didn't even think about it right now. So, kudos to you guys for suggesting that. I do think it's possible. And again, when? Well, here's the deal. When would it be? It would probably follow, and not like Avengers created this, because it didn't, but it's a recent example. That's the only really reason why I'm bringing up Avengers, is it's somewhat similar, and it's definitely recent where people remember it. Normally for these betas, even if you do like an alpha, around 1-2-ish months before the game comes out, that's when it would be. So if you guys want to believe that the middle of July is the beta, which again, I'm not going to go so far to say that I fully believe that. I think it's a possibility, but I'm not going to say I 100% believe it. If that's the case, the game probably releases mid to late August. Really. I mean, because if you do a beta for like a 5, 6, 7 day period, now I think it's only 5 days that they did it, but you do it for 5 days, you take about a month and a half, 2 months, refine stuff, and then you give us the game. So again, if you guys want to believe it's mid-July, then late August it is. And if you guys think that it's difficult though, because if you want to take the dates very literal, then it would be those dates, and it's like, all right, well, what do they do during those dates? If it's not those dates, and again, maybe it's like some sort of code. Again, I know January 6th was one of them you guys came up with, and June 1st if you just reverse the 1 and the 6. Okay, so like, could those dates be be something. I mean, as we said, I do think they eventually have to show us something major. It'll be interesting because if they give us a trailer, say on January 16th, okay, then there goes the date. So now all of a sudden, like, the beta talk kind of goes out the window. Although again, I definitely think it's possible. So let me know, guys, in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think there'll be a beta for this game? When do you think it is? Again, what do you think the dates mean? Do you think they're connected to that? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel, podcast now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. I've been having an absolute blast. You guys have been doing such an amazing job of supporting me. I really can't thank you enough. Again, Happy New Year. Happy 2021. This is our year. This is the Gotham. I mean, it's a lot of other people's years in general too, but this is Gotham Knights' year. Very, very exciting. Again, make sure if you guys want to follow me on Twitter that you do so. Podcast Now 15 is my Twitter handle. We're reaching new heights. I'm so happy to be covering this stuff and doing this stuff for you guys. And again, this is going to be an amazing year, not just for Gotham Knights, but also for the channel too and the stuff that I do here as well, okay? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.